Hello and welcome to the stream. How is everybody doing on this fine Sunday afternoon? It's been a weird day weather-wise, hasn't it? It's been sunny, then snow. Perfect weather for Warhammer though. And today I've got a super special guest with me. Jay is also painting on the stream. Jay, how you doing?
Hi Matt, you alright dude?
Not too bad. What are you painting today?
I'm painting, I don't know if can you see this model? The Qualaphus elf from Curse City.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing these all painted. I was frantically building up my box yesterday, and yeah, it's such a good set, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. I meant to just build 4 heroes and a few bad guys, and I ended up sitting there building the whole thing.
Amazing. Well, on the vampire front, I'm painting the next member of the warband, the Crimson Court. So we have got what's her name, Velis von Thane, the female vampire from that set, looking rather tasty. So yeah, going to be painting her up today. See, we've got a couple of people in the chat as well. Fabius Fulgrim and Dodgy Roller, how are we doing? And a Wild Dave appears as well. Everyone all right? What are we all painting out there in the real world today? Hopefully our audio and everything sounds alright. Does that sound alright, guys? We did have a bit of a test run earlier, but hopefully our audio levels seem to be okay on my screen, so hopefully all sounds good. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is probably paint her up in a similar fashion to the Enforcer, Gorath, who I've done in kind of like purple skin tones.
I was going to say, you're going to keep the purple skin going.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is put that across the whole army with the purple skin on the vampires. And then, I don't know, for this guy here and the Varg gear as well, probably will... Oh, Dave says the music is a teeny bit loud. Let's drop that down a little bit. We can do such things. There we go. Music is changed. Yeah, so for the kind of guy with the wings and the Varg gear, what I'll do is probably darken it quite a bit and then blend up into like a fleshy colour on the wings. So yeah. Craig Sinclair, how are we doing? Andy Woods, painting some Chaos Warriors at the moment. Fabius Fulgrim says the music is slightly annoying on headphones. I've just turned it down a little bit. If that's still a bit too loud, let me know, and I can ditch the music entirely if that suits. Normally I haven't got anyone to chat to, so it's good to have a bit of music in the background. Hopefully that's a bit better now, though. So yeah, I think what we'll do is start off getting some skin down on her. So for this, what I've done, I started with Dawnstone to put in all the flesh, and then went over it with Druchii Violet, and then highlighted it with Slaanesh Grey, which I've lost. Slaanesh Grey. And it gives it, yeah, that nice kind of weird, unnatural tone on the skin. So hopefully that should work on the other guys. We'll see. Dave says that's the tidiest I've ever seen Jay's painting desk.
I spent all weekend. So you should see underneath the desk, Dave. There's like boxes of. Honestly, it's like a Games Workshop warehouse. The amount of Lumineth boxes underneath my desk. I mean, I'm just going to do a 360 on me a camera now, so you can see the Lumineth in like a state of build behind me there.
Yeah, that's a lot of Lumineth you've got there. I mean, mine's no better behind me. I mean, it looks like a bomb's gone off in here. I've got the lights just behind me is the entirety of Curse City built. So yeah, it's I'm sure it's allowed. It's the last day of my week off, so tomorrow I'm going to tidy up this place after work. It's going to be in a good state to start the operation of churning through Curse City. What are your painting plans for Curse City then, Jay? Are you going to try and rattle through the whole box, or are you taking your time?
Well, it's bad timing for me really, because I really want to get cracking with the Lumineth. So I think I'm probably just going to get my hero painted up, and anything else we need for starting our little campaign, and then go back and do the Lumineth first.
Okay, cool. Well, I should be painting up all the enemies from the set, because I want to do a Soulblight Gravelord's army anyway when that book comes out. So by having a bit of a head start using the Curse City stuff, it's not going to be the greatest army in the world, but at least I'll have some models ready for it, and at least I can test out some of the colour schemes as well, can't I?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, it makes sense for you, doesn't it? Because you're planning on doing that army anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what's everyone out there on the chat painting at the minute? Craig Sinclair, I see, is working on some Cabalite Warriors. Nice.
Dark Eldar, yeah, nice.
Andy says the Moo Cow looks nice. Dave, that's a lot of elves.
Cheers, I don't know how many points of elves it's got. I basically bought everything, so I've got at least one of everything, because they're all just amazing kits. And I wanted, like we said on the podcast last week, I wanted to have enough of a selection that I could try lots of different lists. And I've currently got 3 army lists. That the problem is that I want to use everything, but you can't. You just don't have the points. So I need to write multiple lists with all the different things that I want to use, so I can just, I'll use that list today. I'll use that list today.
Yeah, well, I think I said this on the podcast last week. We could just do a massive 3,000 point game. You know, I've got a lot of demons, and we've got Bellicor on the way, haven't we?
I don't even know whether 3,000 points will be enough.
Tell me how many points of Lumineth you've got. I'm sure I can match you in demons.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Ridiculous big game. So Andy Wood says, I've been tempted by some Drakari as well. A friend plays them a lot. You're not doing Drakari, Andy. Shocking.
The new codex is nice. I like the new codex.
New codex is really good. We were, I joke about the Drakari, but we were talking about doing a bit of a session ourselves, weren't we?
Yeah, a campaign in a crusade in Comera.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite fun with us all doing a different kind of like aspect of, you know, various Drakari tribes at war against each other. So, these Underworlds models are so nice, Jay.
Oh yeah, they're really, really cool.
I don't think they've done a bad one this season yet, have they? It's been pretty cool what they've put out. Chris Sinclair's got the Piety and Pain side and the new Combat Patrol box. Great start for an army. That is a great start of an army, yeah. I'd have probably done exactly the same if I was doing Drakari, to be honest.
Not enough incubi in there. Although there is some, isn't there, I think?
You get 5 incubi in the Combat Patrol box, I believe. So yeah, basically what I'm doing is just blocking out her flesh. There isn't actually much flesh on her because she's mostly armoured. Just check a picture on the web store, see what she looks like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick myself to the box art for this, but this one. I was toying with the idea of doing a like a Warcraft Night Elf inspired Kernothi with purple skin. And I think if they ever get models, I think I might do that, like in a proper army. But I thought for Curse City, I'll just paint her up as the box art.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see what they do for that, isn't it? What are your thoughts on the Kernothi? I mean, at the minute, I put up our article on the War Scroll cards earlier, and obviously she's just Sylvaneth, isn't she, in that box? So yeah, I'm intrigued what they do with the Kernothi. What are your thoughts? What do you think they'll do, and what would you like to do?
I'd like you suggest to put them in the Sylvaneth book. I'd love to have them like with Alarielle, but I've been reading, listening to a book called Dark Harvest, which I think is a Warhammer horror one. I'm not sure. It's very good. It's quite dark. I think I can't remember who. I'll find out in a second who the author was. I think it might be Graham Neal, is it? But
McNeil, yeah.
McNeil, yeah. With the Sylvaneth in, and apparently the Kernothi featuring that as well. So I'm hoping to gain a bit of an insight from there. From what I've read so far, I don't think they have a good relationship with Alarielle. So I'm not sure, or Alarielle doesn't really like them. But I don't know.
Doesn't really play nice with people at the minute, does she?
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I guess that way they've got a bigger range straight off the bat, haven't they? Rather than rather than having the situation we have with some armies where they start with a really small range and then it gets expanded down the line. So I don't think that's a bad trade-off. Josh Reynolds says Fabius Fulgrim.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
We've got Daz Moore Wargaming in the chat. How are you doing, Daz? How's things? If you haven't checked it out, Daz has started doing a stream. Really good. So yeah, make sure you check it out because there's been some fun there. I was on, when was it? Last week. It all blurs together. I've been off all week and obviously with Easter and everything. So apologies about the lack of stream last week. We should be back in business now, and obviously we've got Jay on as well. Hopefully at some point we'll have Dave on the stream as well, and we'll have the three of us painting and chatting. It'll be like the podcast, but with models to paint, which should be a bit of fun.
It'd be like old school podcast when I used to paint models when we podcasted.
Yeah, it will be, yeah. So, yeah, they're not going to be, any main script or talking points like we have on the podcast. We'll just be hanging out, painting, and just having a general chit-chat, really. Daz is good. Awesome. What are you painting, Daz? I saw you've been working on some Curse City as well. I want to try and get the vampires done first, and then I will be cracking on through my copy of Curse City because it's such a cool looking box.
I had it all set out on the table this morning, and there's like a little tutorial thing in there. You set up as the what's his name, Van Alten, and it just basically shows you how to move, how to attack, how the enemies attack. And then I set up the first hunt. It's really cool. You decide which kind of journey quest you want to go on for that sort of session. And then there's a table you roll on to determine what the map layout is for most of the missions. I think one of the journeys, it's cool where it generates on the fly as you're running through the city. New tiles are added, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
It takes up a bit more space than I thought it would take up, which isn't a bad thing. It looks very nice on the table.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Priority is getting the models built, and then after the stream, I'm going to get them all primed up. So obviously, I've got something to start painting after these are done. But yeah, looking forward to it. Craig Sinclair says, "Can we have a section of the stream where Dave reviews movies?" I think we definitely need to do that. I don't know if Dave's still watching, but I think we mentioned it, didn't we, on a previous show? Dave's rating system, basically based around Avengers Assemble is a 10, and then anything else around that. When he found that I can't remember what film it was, maybe Infinity War, whatever film that Dave decided was better than Avengers Assemble, basically immediately broke his scoring system. Much to the abuse that he got off Jay.
It's just funny.
And yeah, it looks like very soon we might be able to do some events and play proper Warhammer again. Obviously, me and Dave had a game the other week. When was it? Last week, I think, in the garden. And it's been a bit of a weird weekend, hasn't it? It's gone from raining to snowing to sunny.
Snowing, yeah.
So it's not really been Warhammer weather, unfortunately. But in about 6 weeks' time, I believe we can start playing games inside again. So that'll be a bit of fun.
Yeah, I'm aiming to get 1,000 points of Lumineth painted for that target date.
Nice. And are we going to play through Curse City then as well?
Oh yeah, we can do, can't we? Yeah.
I do want to stream Curse City. We're a little bit behind the curve, obviously, only getting it this weekend. So I don't really want to stream it until we've got the models painted, just because I think it looks better, doesn't it, on video with all the models painted up?
Yeah, it does.
I'll be trying to churn through them. I can paint through an army pretty quickly, get all the undead sorted, and then yeah, maybe have some games on that. But I think that'll be really fun playing it in person, won't it, around a table?
Yeah, it will. It will, because you've got that sort of the Destiny dice, which it works better, I think, when we're all sitting around the table discussing who should use the Destiny dice. And also, there's a cool crisis mechanic in Curse City, where party members sort of leave the board to deal with a crisis, like defending a vendor or a townsperson or something like that. And I think that also works a bit better with us all sitting around the table.
Yeah, definitely. That's more like Silver Tower, isn't it? It's a bit of a kind of pick your own adventure style element to it, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So what I might do is we might hold fire on stream in Curse City until we can all get together and then get some cameras set up and film the whole thing and stream it on here. I think that'd be a bit of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And it gives us a chance to have a bit of a practice and get a feel for the characters as well before then, doesn't it? In our own solo games.
Yeah, I do like the characters. I like the leveling up mechanic in it as well. With the traits that you get. And I like the fact you take the treasure you find back to the dwarf engineer on the ship.
Yeah. No, it looks really good. It's had some rave reviews. There've been some reviews that said that it seems a bit easy, but obviously with the leveling system, I guess until you've had some games and see how the difficulty scales up with the difficulty, it's a bit hard to judge what it's going to be like, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I mean, this is just the first quest as well. I mean, they're going to release loads of new content for it, I expect.
Yeah, see, it's a strange one because obviously it's not available on the website, is it? And it kind of implies that it's no longer available. But the rule book pretty much says this is the first quest and more will follow. So presumably it's going to have the same kind of release schedule as Blackstone Fortress with expansions that they're going to put out. So, Fabius Fulgrim says, did anyone watch the fan-made Last Church video? I haven't, but I love the short story. Have you read that one, Jay?
What's that?
The Last Church. So it's about the Emperor visiting the Last Church on Terra and having a bit of a chat with the guy who's the priest who's kind of stationed there.
A fan-made one.
Yeah, fan-made one.
Oh,
based on a Black
one.
Library book. It's really good.
Oh right, yeah, I'll check that out.
So her corset's going to be the same colour. So yeah, in answer to your question, Fabius Fulgrim, no, I haven't seen it yet, but the story's really good. I really enjoyed that. I've got loads of books to read. I've got the Cursed City novel. I need to finish off Mortis, which is out next week.
I know, I'm looking forward to that.
Normally the audio book's up the same day, isn't it? Which I know you're a big fan of.
Yeah.
And then what else have I got? I've got another book that I need to read. The kind of vampire compilation that Black Library put out recently as well. Get into the vampire spirit of things while painting these guys up.
Was that based in the old world or is that Age of Sigmar?
No, based in the old world.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, it should be fun. Dasmore, I was planning on painting it up in 2 weeks and streaming some games, but then I decided to go metallic on the models, non-metallic metal, like a madman. Curse City live stream playthrough in 2 years. Yeah, but they look really cool, Daz. That's the thing. You don't want to. It's a tricky one, isn't it? When you're kind of creating content, there's a fine line between trying to be the first out there and we've got a new follower. Thank you very much. Riderun9 is that? Thank you for following. Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it, between trying to churn it out as quickly as possible. And Trouserface is now following. Thank you very much, Trouserface. Brilliant name. Trouserface says, hey chaps. How are we doing?
Trouserface, welcome.
What are you painting, Trouserface? Oh, this is a lot easier now. So I make a little alert that makes a little noise when somebody follows. I can give you all a shout out then. Apologies if I've not shouted out in the past. Craig Sinclair, my Curse City is coming tomorrow, and I'm so excited. Yeah, it's probably the most excited I'd been for a Warhammer release for a long time. I don't know if you were the same, Jay.
Well, I was really looking forward to it, but I mean, I wasn't that. I think because the week previous I'd got all my Lumineth stuff, so I was pretty excited about all the Lumineth that I'd got anyway. But then when it turned up, I was like, oh yeah, I was really looking forward to this game, and I can't wait to play it. I mean, I was thinking, I could have played it tonight, but we're streaming. I think, I'll play it tomorrow night, we're podcasting, so it's going to be Tuesday night really before I can get it out on the table. I'm definitely getting it out on the table, and I know we're going to be playing through our own campaign as well. But it's just such a nice sort of looking game. I just want to play it.
Yeah.
Plus, I read all of the lore in the rule book and quest book, so it tells you about the city. I won't say anything, spoil anything on the stream here, but it tells you about the background, about the setting and the characters and whatnot, and it's so good. It's some of the best Age of Sigmar lore I've ever read.
They've done really well with the lore, haven't they? It's been really good. We'll give a quick shout out to T-Man Cash, who's followed us, and Ralderon9. Nice to catch you guys live and not just the podcast. Thanks for stopping by and watching. It's we've had plans, haven't we, Jay, for a while to kind of get the stream going up and properly as a kind of equivalent to the podcast with us all on having a chat and painting. So I think Jay, you're a permanent addition to the cast now, aren't you, on here?
I am,
hopefully we'll have Dave on. Just thought it's a bit more interesting with us talking nonsense about Warhammer, and you get to see some cool models. Timothy Unwin in the chat. How you doing, Tim? How are things? What are you painting at the minute? Trouser Faces undercoating Dead Man's Hand Lawman Gang. Then building Curse City Minis. Busy evening. Yeah, it took me. What time did Dave come around? I think Dave came round with the box that he'd picked up about 1 o'clock, and I think it took me pretty much the rest of the day to get the contents built, just because I wanted to clean them up and make them look presentable. So yeah, put in a couple of hours for that Trouser Face. Raldron, which you guys was it that got the big Lumineth release that went on Twitter the other day? Is someone challenging Jay? So no, Jay, do you want to pivot your camera around and show Raldron the ridiculous pile of Lumineth?
This is just some of it. So there's a bit of a delay on my feed, so I hope you can see it. Spin it around like this. This is just some of the Lumineth. If I showed you underneath my desk, there's boxes of it.
That is crazy.
I basically picked up at least one of everything. In some cases, 2 or 3 boxes of stuff. So 3 ballistas, 3 units of Swordmasters, because they're so cool.
But see, that made me laugh, because it was the Swordmasters, like, oh, I'm not going to bother with the Swordmasters, they're not the best.
Rules-wise, they're probably not the strongest thing in the Codex, but I've got 15 of them because they look so cool, and I need to just bear with me while I try and get my camera back in the right place. I've got 2 lists with units of them in because they are cool.
Yeah, I think they're the nicest looking model. I really like the one out of the Curse City box. Tim Unwin's painting Primaris Crimson Fists, nice. Steve Harbour in the chat, how you doing? Timothy Unwin hoping for an Order of Azir sub-faction for cities. Yeah, I absolutely am too. I reckon that'll be a thing. That seems like a no-brainer for me. I don't know about you, Jay, but I think that's the easiest way to keep Cities of Sigmar valid, but add a load of new stuff as well. Because I don't think they're too keen to basically get rid of any old stuff, are they? Unless they have to, and the stuff that doesn't really fit with the Age of Sigmar aesthetic, they've kind of already gotten rid of, haven't they?
Yeah.
So by adding Order of Sigmar as a new kind of Order of Azir, sorry, as a new faction within the Cities of Sigmar, I think makes the best sense. But yeah, we know we've got the Witch Hunter father-daughter combo on the way.
I've loved the memes on social media for the dad jokes.
It's all about the memes, isn't it? Raldron, good effort. It looks great when somebody does a big buy like that. Yeah, maybe not so much for Jay's bank account.
Well, I mean, I did know it was coming, so I was prepared for it. I've been waiting since January, so I've had this hobby fund ready to go.
Yeah, well, I've just done the same.
I'm not finished though. I've not finished. I need to buy 1 more box of Hurricane Wind Chargers, and I think that's it. Then I've got everything I need.
Nice. Oh, I can't wait till they're all painted and we can have a proper game with them.
Yeah, I'll probably be painting them a lot on the streams over the next few weeks. Like I say, I'm working 6 weeks to get 1,000 points painted, so I can have a game with you guys. And then after that, it's just going to be painting everything because, like I say, there's so many different lists I want to try.
That's cool. It makes it a bit more interesting when you've got different varieties rather than just immediately going for whatever net list is popular at the time.
Yeah.
Beefy Kobe in the chat saying, afternoon. How are you doing, Beefy? Again, some brilliant names in the chat today. Fabius Fulgrim, isn't the elf from the Go Trek Audio's Order is it? I believe she... is she? I think she's a daughter of Cain. I'm sure she was an assassin from Marathi. unless she changes her allegiance in the later one.
Well, I mean, Marafi's kin are want to do that, aren't they?
They are, yeah. That reminds me, I've got a load of, under the desk, a load of Dark Elves I need to build, because I'm going to do a City of Sigmar based around Anvilgard or Kuron or whatever they're called now. I think that'll be pretty fun. Trials of Fate have so much greater clear before I grab Be'lakor. I am super looking forward to Be'lakor. So I ordered the Titanicus Warmaster Titan and the new Maniple because it's a bargain basically. And I've got, I can't remember, I've got like 4,000 points of Allegiance of Ignatum. I was going to paint up the Warmaster in Ignatum colours, but I thought, well, you know what, I've got enough Ignatum, and I wanted to do a traitor force just so I've got a second army for demo in the game and to add a bit of variety. So I'm going to do Mortis.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout.
Yeah, well, I've got you get about 1,600 points in the Maniple box. The War Master's about 1,000 points, and I've got a couple of Questoris Mechanicum Knights. So with all that, I can do about 3,000 points of Mortis then, and then I've got a couple of forces then, haven't I? And I can always add a War Master at some point. Problem is with those specialist Titans, you need to take a Maniple to unlock them, and I've got enough Titans to do that. But realistically, I'm never going to be able to use a Nemesis Titan and a War Master Titan in the same game, so it kind of makes sense to have them on separate forces.
Yeah.
Right, so we've blocked in some of the base colours on here. Next, we'll go into the metallics, I feel. Beefy Kobe, I'm doing very well. Cheers, mate. Working on my Grot Rebels today. Amazing.
Oh, 40k Grot Rebels.
I'd love to do a Rebel Grot army. What rules are you using for them,
Beefy? If there's any more Grots coming with the new, what are they called? The Beast Snaggers.
Beast Snaggers, yeah. Yeah, they look really cool. Fabius Fulgrim, didn't she kill her hag and leave them? It's been a while since I've listened to that audio drama. It's really good, but it's ages since I've listened to it. I don't think she's the nicest person in the world. Beefy Kobe using Orc rules for the Rebel Grots. Cool. I suppose that's the easiest solution, isn't it? And any kind of like, you can proxy a lot of the different Orc types with Grots anyway, can't you? Giving them, jump packs for Storm Boys and maybe even, Squig Hoppers for Storm Boys would be good. Once I've finished my current project, I'll have 500 points fully painted. 500 points of Gretchen is a lot of Gretchen, though, isn't it?
That will be a lot of Gretchen.
That's pretty good going. So I've obviously got this Titan Maniple to do, but if Be'lakor's up for pre-order next Saturday, that gives me, what is it? It'll come out pre-order next Saturday, out the following week. So I've basically got 2 weeks to get these guys Cursed City and a Titan Maniple painted. Even I might struggle with that, so I might have to prioritize on these guys and start Cursed City, because I think Be'lakor's going to jump the queue when he comes out. Just because back when we played Warhammer Fantasy, I had a big demon army then, and it's bigger since, isn't it? We've never used it in like that scale because since then, obviously all the demon factions have split into, the various god factions, haven't they, for Sigmar?
Yeah, you can't really do a demon like undivided army very well, can you?
No, and then even in 40k, I've kind of not used them because I've been waiting for a new book for them because it's quite old.
It'd be interesting to see how he gets these 40k rules, actually.
Well, it does. There was a post on Warcom today saying that he's getting rules, but it doesn't say how. So I wonder if it would just be a PDF
download
on Warcom. Yeah. Presumably his rules will follow in a demon codex when they get one.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know when that is. We know that Mechanicus are pre-order in April, which must be, I guess, the week after Be'lakor, because we're already halfway through April, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then we know there's Orcs and there's Sisters of Battle coming, so demons are probably a little time away, aren't they? Beefy Kobe has only got 15 Gretchen in the list. What's in your list then, Beefy Kobe? What models have we got in there? And if you're on Twitter, if you send us some pictures at Sprues and Brews, we'll check those out. And I'm sure Dave will link him in the chat if he's lurking. Beefy Kobe, a grot boss on Cyber Squig for a war boss on bike, 15 grot boys for grots, 6 rabid squigs for war bikers, and a cannon wagon. That's 500 points. Amazing. Oh, well, if at Sprues and Brews on Instagram as well, Beefy. Fabius Fulgrim said the rules were going to be in a supplement, which doesn't sound like the Codex. I'm going to guess book 2 of the campaign. Yeah. So demons and Grey Knights are mentioned in the Warzone Carried On campaign. So yeah, that seems like a pretty good shout for where they're going to appear. Again, as to when that is, don't know, but you know, we've had second Broken Realms book in a month. Is this with Be'lakor?
Yeah.
Not long ago, the Techless one, is it?
Was it April Techless? It was last week, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's we're a little bit. I always get a little bit confused because obviously sometimes with the review stuff we've seen it a little bit longer than it's been out for. But yeah, I don't think it's actually been out that long.
I'm sure it was Saturday, wasn't it? It came out last Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Apologies if that's completely wrong. Steve Harbour, how well do the new Curse City models scale against the old Vampire Counts models? I haven't got any old Vampire Counts. I did have some skeletons somewhere. I do have the old Zigvald here, and they are quite a bit bigger. So yeah, if you want him to scale with the old ones, certainly the Underworlds warband were quite a lot bigger. I mean, if you look at the big fella, even compared to a Primaris Marine, he is a big boy. He's certainly been working out. So yeah, they're quite a lot tougher looking than the old vampires. That's not necessarily a bad thing. They're meant to be big, brutal vampires, but yeah, I imagine these models will be a fair bit bigger than those old ones. Which, you know, I think we've seen that across the entire range, though, haven't we, Jay?
Yeah, we saw it to begin with the Primaris Space Marines. I remember when the first Tactical Marines went onto the bigger bases, it just gave them more room to do stuff with posing and things like that.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but that things are a bigger scale. I guess, yeah, if you're looking to proxy them or something for fantasy, then they might be a little bit on the big side. I did see somebody use the Cursed City skeletons as they put them on square bases for Warhammer Fantasy. That was pretty cool. That worked pretty well, really. A little bit cramped because, like I say, they're quite a bit more dynamic, aren't they? One of the things with the old fantasy models is that they had to account for the fact that they were ranked up on square bases.
Yes.
So obviously you haven't got that problem, have you, with Age of Sigmar, because you know they can sit on a round base. You don't have to worry about them ranking up. So I wonder when we get the old world whether they shrink back on the scale a little bit, maybe, or they just make the bases bigger for everything.
Make the bases bigger, yeah. That would be interesting.
And this is assuming it's going to be on square bases, which, let's face it probably is, isn't it?
I'd like to see a rank and file game come back.
Yeah, we've been. What were we looking at, Jay? Conquest, Last Argument of Kings.
Yeah, definitely. They've just recently released like an orc faction for it. Now the models are a bit bigger than even Age of Sigmar models, I think, isn't the scale slightly bigger?
They are big models then. But yeah,
but yeah, it's sort of they've got an army builder online that you can use to create your army lists, and it definitely gives me the feel of old Warhammer Fantasy, where you were given like magic items and weapon upgrades and things to your troops and characters.
Yeah, it looks interesting. We reviewed the starter box last summer now, so it is kicking around on our YouTube somewhere if you are interested. Again, it's one of those because of the pandemic, we've not actually been able to play it, unfortunately.
No, it's a shame.
There's so many games that we need to play, but we've not been able to. And then with the, between lockdowns, with the limited time we've had, we've kind of focused on, 40k, because that was the new hotness, wasn't it? 9th edition.
Yes, that was it. 9th edition, yeah.
So, I don't know about you, but at the minute, I'm kind of feeling Sigmar at the minute. I want to paint some, play some Sigmar.
It is weird how you sort of go round in sort of cycles, isn't it? I'm the same. I'm definitely feeling Sigmar. I mean, it probably helps that I've got a brand new army that I really want to use, but...
Yeah, Steve Harbour says, just play 8th edition. Plenty of people still play. See, I did, for a long time, I kept my ogres based so I could use them in 8th. But I just felt that realistically, we tend to move on with the editions.
Yeah.
I know your brother Lee, I think, has got all his Skaven still based for 8th, hasn't he?
He does, yeah. He hasn't really got into Age of Sigmar, though, or Warhammer. He's sort of gone off these now. He prefers the smaller scale games like Infinity, which is a shame. We don't get as many games in of Warhammer as we used to. But he was a big fan of Warhammer Fantasy, I think, and he was a big fan of Kislev. So I wonder, with them coming back in the old world, I think he may sort of rekindle his sort of love for Warhammer.
Yeah, I've got a feeling the old world will bring him back. Especially, well, we still don't know all the factions that were involved, and I don't think we really can assume that straight off the bat all the old factions that we know are going to be in the game.
No.
Because realistically, I don't know. That's a lot of armies to have ready for day one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Assuming that they're all going to be new models, because let's face it, the whole purpose of this is to, get you to buy nice new models rather than use your old existing collections. So
that's it, yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm guessing some kind of like Orc and Empire traditional base ones, or even kind of Empire Civil War kind of set to kick us off.
Yeah, just I'll be back in 2 seconds.
No worries. So what we all doing out there in the chat? Trouser Face, how are you getting on with your Black Sea ships? I've been playing Armada, which is a fantasy version like Man of War. It's Mantic, but a great little game. I have finished my British fleet. If I roll over here, I've got... grab a few of these. So, I have been painting up some of the ships for Black Seas, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Takes a little while to do all the rigging and the sails and everything, but I think it makes such a difference. It's a lot nicer with them on than... You could just play them straight out the box, but I think the sails and the rigging really adds to the effect. I have got a French fleet as well, but they are currently in this kind of state, so they need painting and rigging and everything. So much hobby, so little time's the problem we've got.
Yeah, you have to try and yeah, that is the problem. It's a struggle to stay sort of disciplined and not running after the next shiny, and not just like Warhammer ones. I'm on about different games as well.
Oh, long-time listeners of the podcast will know that as soon as the next shiny comes along, I've probably bought like 3 of them. So yeah, you've done pretty well this year though, Jay. Kind of staying on track with the Lumineth.
Yeah, that's it. I have done well this year. I mean, there's only a couple of things that will derail me, I think. New Craft World Eldar, that will derail me. Obviously, the Kenofi I'm very interested in. That would derail me. And I think that's it. I think I could probably resist everything else.
That's pretty good going. Compared to in like previous years, you'd have picked up a whole army, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I have done that in the past, and then you paint 1 or 2 models, and I think we had a good segment on last week's podcast where we were sort of talking about what makes you start collecting an army, and yeah, I found that unless I really, really liked everything about the army, which is like the backstory, the characters, then I wouldn't really stick with it. So now I'm thinking to myself, well, if something comes out, I think, okay, like Be'lakor, the model looks amazing, but I'm like, I'm not a Chaos Demon player, so I'll pick Be'lakor up and I'll buy like a box of demons, and then I just won't feel motivated to paint them or play with them. So I'm not bothering with Be'lakor, even though he does look stunning.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it is nice to paint up a model just for the fun of painting it up. But I know what you mean, especially with Warhammer and stuff. You kind of want to buy a force to go with it, don't you?
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, for me, I do. Yeah.
I suppose you've started like last year or the year before last. You had like Black Legion and Gloomspite Gits, which I don't think you really felt once you'd got them on the table, had you?
Exactly. Yeah, that was the problem. I mean, the thing with Gloomspite Gits was I really like the models.
Yeah.
The Troggoths and the Gobblepalooza are really cool, but yeah, the army as a whole, I'm not really a green skin player, so.
And you know what? I had exactly the same with the Bone Reapers as well.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really play like your classic hordes of zombies and skeletons. They were more of a defensive line with some spells, and it just all the cool stuff that I liked as well was too many points to like cram into an army as well. So I never really kind of got to grips with them. And also, I don't know, I don't like playing the cheese of the month army either. And I don't know if they're as bad now, but they were pretty horrific, weren't they, when they came out?
Well, they had one, didn't they? Petrifax or something.
Petrifax Elite, were they? Yeah.
Yeah, got battered by them at Purple Spark Unicorns. Although I got battered by them, but it was a really, really fun game. I can't remember who it was against now. He had a really, really nice Ossiarch Bone Reaper army with all snow on the bases. It wasn't the Mortek Crawler one. He had loads of. He was a Petrifax one.
Yeah, I know I played against Azza and he had some crawlers, and
that was it.
I managed to put up a fight against him with Archeon, but I couldn't stop him. They were very strong. Daz Moore Wargamer says, "Don't get me started on them." Yeah, they are a bit brutal. Craig Sinclair with a cool shout. Song of Ice and Fire is a great rank and file game. We've both looked at that, haven't we?
Yeah. What really got me looking at that was Duncan Rhodes models that he did.
Yeah, I remember probably this time last year when we had Duncan on the podcast and he was talking about it, and somehow again we've managed to resist that. I think the difference with that one, that's a big investment, isn't it? Buying into a new game, because we need the starter set, we need the armies. At least with Warhammer, it's between us, we've probably got most factions already.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that Warhammer has going for it as well over a system like that, and I mean, I think the models look amazing for that, but they are just human armies, aren't they? Yeah. So every army is a human or a variation of a human, whereas Age of Sigmar has a bit more interesting factions and variations. So you've got like Seraphon fighting orcs, fighting dwarves, fighting elves, and I like that about Warhammer.
I mean, I suppose you could say the same from obviously I've picked up a bit of Napoleonic wargaming stuff recently, but the difference with that, I could get hundreds of models for like 50 quid.
Yes.
So it's not too bad. The models aren't as nice as Games Workshop stuff, and they're very kind of mono-pose, but when you're doing a kind of big historical mass battle, all you really need is the rank and file filler, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, and that was mostly because my dad said he was up for doing some games, historical games. So, yeah. Have you? I've seen your brothers kind of play games, but have you ever managed to talk your dad into playing some hobby?
Nope. It's just me and Lee. Even my other brother Connor, he's not really into it. Though he's a big gamer and he likes his RPGs and board games. He's never really tried Warhammer.
See, I'm surprised Connor's never been into it. He's
He doesn't like competitive games. He hates competitive games. So if there was like a cooperative version of Warhammer, he would be all over that, I think.
Do you not think he means like narrative games or something, maybe?
Yeah, we've tried. He's just not a big fan of the, like, say, fighting another player.
Fair enough.
Which is that's it. But he loves the background, the setting, and he loves the models. He can appreciate the models, but he just can't bring himself to collect an army. I mean, we tried him with Infinity, and he loves the models and the setting for Infinity, but he just doesn't like fighting against somebody.
Fair enough. But we'll have to bring him along to Warhammer World when we can, and
Yeah.
convince him otherwise.
Yeah, I think he'd be interested in playing like Soulbound or the RPG perhaps. Even Curse City.
Trials of Faith in Curse City is co-op, yeah. Well, Curse City is more of a board game. I think that's probably going to be his cup of tea, isn't it?
Yeah,
Did he ever play Blackstone Fortress?
He play back? I think he might have played Blackstone Fortress. I think he did like Blackstone Fortress. But the thing with Blackstone Fortress is I didn't get it to the table very much, and I didn't keep up with it either. So
no. I know we started a couple of campaigns. My longest campaign that I played on that was actually with my sister.
Yeah, I remember you saying you played with your sister.
And we did pretty well. So she's definitely up for playing that. So that's potentially our fourth member of our party there. But yeah, it's been weird though, isn't it? Obviously not being able to play games properly.
For so long as well.
Yeah, and that's it. Back when they started, it was like, yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks and it'll be all over, won't it? Nope, that didn't happen. Oh, this model's so cool, Jay. How are you finding yours?
Yeah, I'm thinking as I'm painting it, I wonder if I could convert some Iden F. Deepkin into Kenofi.
Ooh.
She's awesome. She's really, really cool. I really hope the Kenofi get a full range.
I'm pretty sure they'll get something, because it's not just a one-off anymore, is it? Obviously we've had the Underworlds warband, and now we've got her as well from Curse City.
Yeah.
And like you say, there's been books that mention them. Yeah, I hope we get something somewhere in the Broken Realms books about
Broken Realms Alariel, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd love to get Alariel back on the table.
That's the hard bit, is it? We don't know how many books the Broken Realms series is going to be. For us to start making wild speculations. Out there in the chat, what books would you like to see from the Broken Realms series? I mean, other than Broken Realms Johan, which is clearly the book that everybody wants. Yeah, it's in fact, is that our top 3 this week? I can't remember what top 3 was this week now. I think it was top 3.
What, the next Broken Realms
characters you'd like to see in the Broken Realms books, yeah. Dave, if you're still out there, could you double check and then pop that out for us? That'd be awesome. Cheers. Right, so we're getting there with the base colours. Jay, how are you getting on?
I've got my skin done, I think. I might just need a little bit touching up. I'm going for the eyes now.
Oh, cool.
Which I always love doing. Not.
Oh, mouse base.
She's looking good, Matt.
Mouse base. Well, let me switch over to the that on the main cam. So yeah, obviously just base colours in. I've got a bit of gold on a corset. I just need to tidy that up. But yeah, basically just blocking out the base colours. Have you got yours there, Jay? I'll just switch over to your camera.
Yeah. My let me switch back to my. It's a bit hard. It's a bit of delay on my thingy, so I'll try and you tell me if you've got that. Yeah, there you
go. That's fine. Awesome.
Yep.
Blocking in the colours, looking good. Cool. Yeah. So it's I don't know how long it's going to take us to paint all of the the models in this box, but I think between us, the plan is obviously between us get the models done. Mousebait says, "Sorry, thought I was following." That's fine. You are now. It's all good. Grace here, the community video this evening has the front cover for the Be'lakor book. Have you seen the collector's edition of that? It looks absolutely gorgeous.
I think they've knocked it out of the park with the artwork for this week's releases, pre-orders. Even the boxes, the box art of the collector sets, the army sets, amazing.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know if that's new artwork or I've never seen it before.
I think all of the Broken Realms boxes that they've done for the kind of like the faction boxes have had new artwork that they've done as part of the stuff in Broken Realms.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's certainly going to some effort with it, aren't they?
Yeah, I remember when I was flicking through the Dark Eldar Codex, I was blown away with the artwork in that as well.
Awesome.
You forget, really, don't you, how sort of what a range of sort of art that Games Workshop produced. They've obviously got the stories, they've got the sculpts, they've got the heavy metal paintwork, and then they've got the artwork as well.
Yeah, it's in previous editions we had quite a lot of recycled art, certainly inside the books, didn't we? But I think recently there's been a lot of new artwork in the books, which is really cool to see.
Can't wait for Kragnos. I mean, a lot of that's got to be new, surely.
What is Kragnos? Well, I mean, once we've got Be'lakor out the way, I was kind of expecting that we'd see another preview weekend. Obviously, we haven't this week, so I don't know. Just the fact that once Be'lakor's out and the Admech Codex, yeah, we've got the Orcs and the Sisters of Battle, but we haven't seen that much more outside that, have we?
No.
So I'm kind of expecting one soon, just to see what's next. Which again is the intent. They're very good at the marketing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, I need to touch up a couple of details here that I've fudged. Let's get a smaller brush and start doing those. And then, I've missed some of her sword as well. Once I've done all those, then it'll be a case of putting down some washes, and then we can start highlighting her up. This guy didn't take me too long at all to do, really. Longest time was probably waiting for the washes to dry. I was quite happy with how he turned out. Gracie says he looks thoroughly malevolent. Is that Be'lakor? Yeah, he does. Dodgy Roller. The Broken Realms books are getting me very excited for 3rd edition AOS. Well played, GW. Well played. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what's coming. I'm kind of, I don't know. It's hard to predict what's going to happen now. We were so very sure that this was leading up to the next edition of AOS, and the books will all have kind of Crusade style content. But the fact that we've had recent books that don't have that kind of thing, yeah, I don't know. Unless that kind of stuff's tied to a supplement or something, I don't think we can necessarily predict what's going to happen based on what we've seen in 40k.
No. Which is a bit of a shame. I would love to see Crusade Age of Sigmar. That would be something I could just... I mean, because I find sometimes Age of Sigmar can be a bit more competitive than 40k, and you have to tune your lists a bit more, and, you know, there's a lot more that goes into the actual list building than it does in 40k. In 40k, you can sort of a bit more forgiving with your list. Whereas Age of Sigmar, you know, sometimes a battle's lost in your list, and there seems to be a lot more hard counters for certain lists, so, you know, you can build one list, but there'll be variations of opponents' lists that your army just doesn't stand a chance against, and that's the way they do the balance. Whereas in a Crusade style game, obviously none of that's an issue.
And you know, and that was an issue in the previous edition of 40k. Crusade really made narrative kind of play more accepted and kind of a fun thing to do, as well as tournament style games.
Yeah.
So I'd be very surprised if they didn't do something like that for Sigmar. But what format it takes, I don't know. I guess it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world if they don't just copy and paste stuff from one system to the other. It keeps them separate things, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll have something cool planned. It's exciting though. I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully we'll be playing games by then. That'll be the best part.
Oh, that's it. I mean, I think I've had one game with General's Handbook 2020.
Yeah. Dodgy Roller says Path to Glory was in a separate book. Daz Maul always found it the other way round. Dave always felt the 40k community are more competitive. Craig Sinclair likes the lamppost vampire. Yeah, pole dancing vampire is the best vampire. And Gracie says on the front of the collector's edition looks like a demon prince crossed with the Lord of the Rings Balrog. Yeah, I am tempted by that collector's edition, Jay. I think the collector's editions are very pretty books, and I've picked up a couple over the years. The only problem is they kind of don't stay valid for long, do they? Just because we know how quickly new books and things happen in in the hobby. Like, you picked up the dwarf book, didn't you? Like, a couple of months before the end times.
That was it, and I've not looked at it again since. I think the artwork is amazing. I think I would prefer to get some sort of print of the artwork and up on the wall rather than a limited edition book. But I can understand people. It is a nice book. It is a nice item to sort of collect and own.
And that's the thing, you know. There's, I a long time ago, I got rid of a load of my old edition books, and I really regret doing that because it's sometimes nice just to have a flick through the artwork and the miniatures pages, isn't it?
Yeah, I keep on mine. I've got Warhammer Fantasy books and 40k codexes going back editions and editions, loads of them. They take up too much room, but for that exact reason. So, like, for example, with the Lumineth coming out, I dug out all the old High Elf books going back probably about, I don't know, 5th or 4th edition High Elf army books. And it is good to sort of have a look at the different colour schemes. I mean, some of them, the heavy metal studio colour painting jobs have definitely improved over the years. But it is still interesting, and there's still like really cool stories as well.
Yeah, no, they are cool. I had a couple of the old vampire books that I pulled out of the collection when I was writing my original Soulblight Gravelords article, which was a couple of months ago now. And it was so good having a flick through those old books to see, you know, what has changed over the years. Robert Scott on YouTube says, where the Anvil of Apotheosis rules from White Dwarf may be the trial version of AOS Crusade. Yeah, I have suspected that. I'd love to see Anvil of Apotheosis being like a core part of the game. Creating
definitely.
your own character and like maybe have that as Crusade, but rather than leveling the army, you're leveling that hero. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Definitely, as I've just converted this guy up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, let me get you on the main screen. Hang on. There you go, Jay. Yeah. So talk us through the conversion, Jay.
Yeah. So it's all separate. So it's not a massive conversion. So I use the let me grab him off his base there. I use the special character, the Warden of Metrica hero on top, and rather than the lance, I chopped his arm up and put the Lord Regent's sword on. So he reminds me now a lot of the old Tyrion model. And then the mount, I preferred the mount for the special character where he's sort of stepping down this rock. I mean, the other one's really nice as well. He's sort of leaping on his forelegs, I think, in the other version. So I did that one, and I've also converted I say converted. This is like just a head swap, so sometimes
the conversion.
Well, that's it, and sometimes the simplest conversions are the best. So this is my Lore Master. I don't know if you can see that one.
Oh, yep, he's coming into focus now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I swapped the head. So she's got a female head now, so she's a female Lore Seeker. So, but these are two characters that I just made for the Anvil.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, Robert Scott just said, because in the AOS Tale of Warlord series, they're using those rules versus the 40k series using Crusade. That's good. Mousebait likes your conversion, Jay.
Oh, thank you.
It says, if I get a limited edition codex, which I did for Knights, I would just count it as a collection thing. Love the pics. I buy old codexes just for that as well. There's been different painting styles for sure. Yeah, Grace here. Coming back to the hobby, I've gone on a bit of a silly spending spree, picking up Warhammer Fantasy Battle books from editions I missed. So now I have a load of 4th, 6th, and 8th books. Yeah, I really regret getting rid of some of mine. I've got some of them. I've got some of the. Do you remember they did the Citadel Miniatures kind of collections as well, where they had it was basically just pictures of all the models. And they had
yes, I do. Like the catalogues.
Yeah, the catalogues. Yeah, exactly. And they did one for each. I think originally they did some like big tomes with everything in, and then they had some armor-specific ones.
Yeah, I'm sure I had an Eldar one at one point, which had the Dark Eldar, the Eldar, and the Craftworld Harlequins and Craftworld Eldar in. And I remember there being a cool something compendium. I can't remember, Warhammer Compendium or something. They used to have a lot of great pictures of models in.
Yeah. Robert Scott says, I like the Altharian style head swap too.
Oh yeah, on the mounted hero. Yeah, that's the it's the special character's head. It's very, very cool. Yeah. So I just basically combined both models, and I guess now I can use them as the special character or as the Lord Regent. Although I think I would want to use him as a Lord Regent because I would want to make him into my own character. I'm even tempted, to run some Lumineth armies without picking a nation, so I could use some of the artifacts and command traits from the book.
Oh yeah.
It's always a weird thing, isn't it? They're always really, really cool, but you can never use them. I've never had a game with anyone who hasn't picked like a Storm Host or a.
No, you're right there. You're definitely right
and
there.
it just seems like they've gone through a lot of effort to write these rules, and no one uses them.
It does seem like a shame, doesn't it?
And there's like pages of them. There's like 3 for each of the sub-factions in the Lumineth book. I don't know. But I guess in a Crusade, that's you could use those, couldn't you then? Because you're not worried too much about tuning your list to win games at a tournament. Yeah. You
Trying
can
to
sort
tell
of enjoy it.
craft a narrative. Grace said, I was a 4th and 6th player in 8th edition, absolutely gorgeous, full colour. I love the older Mark Gibbons illustrations. That noise you can hear in the background is Jay rummaging through his. What have you got? A bucket of paints, I think is how you describe it.
Yeah, I'm muting it now so that you can't.
It's fine. It's not too loud. So you really need to get a new paint organisation system than a bucket of paints.
It is a bucket. It's like a big red plastic, 2 of them in fact, like plastic drawer from like a plastic unit, and I just have all my washes and technical paints in one and all the regular paints in the other. And I'm now looking for some Seraphim Sepia, and unfortunately everything looks like Seraphim Sepia when I pick it up. No, that's Gullum and Flesh. No, that's Reichland Shade. I know I've got some Seraphim Sepia in here somewhere.
I'm sure the Heavy Metal team keep their paints in a bucket. I remember watching a.
This is why things take me so long to paint.
This is it. I was watching a Warhammer TV stream, and I'm sure Peachy had his paints in like a carrier bag. And it did make me think of you, Jay.
Yeah, I'm not that bad. A carrier bag, that would be hard.
As long as I've known you, I think the most like high-tech organised storage system you've had was a box. But they weren't like neatly in the box; they were just all thrown in a box, weren't they?
Well thrown, yeah. I mean, a few months ago, I did go through I say a few months ago. Geez, it must have been right at the beginning of lockdown. I went through a sort out, so I threw all the old dried up paints. Like I've got like 5 Abaddon Blacks in here, and only 1 of them was decent. So at least I know all these paints now are good. But I can't find the.
Are you actually a paint hoarder, Jay?
Yeah, I have. I've got empty tins of spray paint in the cupboard above me that I keep. I don't throw them away because I take them to the tip to recycle. But I haven't been there for a while, so they're all piling up. And like, I don't know. Now the fact that I can't buy a new tin of spray paint anywhere, I'm a bit reluctant to throw all the old tins out.
Do you see? I have got an empty can of spray, well, nearly empty can of spray paint, just so I remember whether it's Wraithbone or Greysir. Because inevitably I'll get to the shop and I'll be like, yeah, I can't remember which one it was, and I have to buy both anyway.
Yeah.
Mousebait says it sounds like the Peachy School of Paints.
I'm now resorted to. I'm getting them all out now so I can find them because I can't find the Seraphim Sepia. So I'm going to have to crack Surfshade. The thing is, it's always the one that I'm looking for. I can never put my hand on.
There's always the way, though, isn't it? So the next hour of this stream will be Jay trying to find a plastic Seraphim Sepia, and then
I should have painted her hair red instead of blonde. Oh, hang on.
Ooh,
there we go. This is where I knock it over now.
That's it. Out there in the chat, what do you guys use for your paint storage? Dave has got a paint stand and a drawer. Well, la-di-da, Dave. I've got, you won't be able to see it, but just out a shot over there, there's a it's got like 8 drawers, big tall unit about this high, from Hobbycraft, and it's made by Really Useful Boxes, and the trays. In fact, if I get one out, you might be able to see. I've got them all sorted into trays such as this. Don't know if you can see that there. And the perfect size to hold the paints. And I've got basically a different drawer. So I've got a drawer for contrast, drawer for instar, drawer for Citadel Air, and then it goes down base layers, technicals, washers. So if I need a paint, I can just grab it straight away. Don't have to go rummaging through a bucket, Jay.
I like the thing is I don't know what paint, like I'll pull a paint out and I'm like, I didn't even know I had that colour, and then it completely inspires me to change my paint scheme. That's why I do it this way.
It saves you in the long run.
Yeah.
Mousebait says, right, doesn't matter how they're organised, really doesn't. Dave, stand for most popular and used colours, draw for overflow, excellent. Mousebait,
So you
Lazy
guys are just
Susan,
playing.
some draws, some MDF holders, then everything I'm actually using is on my desk. Dodgy Roller's got a really useful box. Yeah, so when I am painting, like, you won't be able to see, but I've got all the paints that I've used for these vampires out on the desk, just to save me going in and out of these drawers. And then
Yes, that's organisation, isn't it? I should have done that.
it's almost organisation. And I keep some notepads with my scheme for each army that I'm working on, so that when I inevitably come back to them in 2 years' time when some shiny new model comes out, I then can remember how I painted it. Unless the paint, like, they've changed the paints or something, that's
Yeah.
really a pain.
I have less as well to do for my sand here. I've got sheets of paper with different schemes on for my different armies, so that I remember.
Excellent. So yeah, we're almost organised with the painting, Joe.
Yeah.
Pro painting. Done.
How are you basing your vampires, Matt?
So obviously these ones from Curse City, Warhammer Underworlds come on the sculpted bases, don't they? So I've gone for like kind of like a grey scheme. This hasn't been highlighted yet. I just threw him on this because I'd almost finished him by the time the non-disclosure agreement dropped. But my Nagash is painted on a base. We remember when Soul Wars came out and all the Sigmar stuff was on like grey bases.
Yeah.
Kind of sand dry brushed up. I guess probably Mechanica standard grey through to Dawnstone, I think, and then a few like kind of dead grass tufts. That's probably how I'm going to base these. Time into Nagash, and then all my death stuff's painted the same way. My Night Haunt's based in that scheme as well, so it just ties the faction together. I do the same for all my Chaos armies as well, are based the same way just to keep them consistent. So if I ever get a situation where, like with Bellicor coming out next week, where I can then take different elements from each of the army, it still looks unified together.
Yeah.
Don't always do that. I mean, obviously, me Deathcore Krieger on trench bases because they look cool. And then it's like, if I did an Imperium army, would I need to base them the same way? I think the trench scheme kind of works more as a unique Deathcore kind of thing, though.
Yeah. Joe, I'd love to see a Space Marine chapter alongside those Deathcore with that sort of trench base.
You know what would be good? Imperial Fists. Proper knackered, armoured Imperial Fists.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan, actually, Jay. It'd be dead easy to do the yellow with the airbrush and then scuff it up a bit. So I think I've now picked out the bits that I have missed on her. So what I'm going to do is go back in and touch up the black areas that I've gone over. Do the hair with a highlight of some grey of some description, Eshin grey maybe. And then we're ready for washes. So that's pretty good going. What time are we on? 8 minutes past 8 and we've nearly got the base colours down and I'm quite happy with that. Let's see what's going down in the chat. Grace here. The small really useful box set that goes in a rack. Each box can fit 5 paints snugly, so that's 80 paints in a rack. Oh, that's cool. Can't fit it on my desk, so end up emptying them out. Mouseplate says, oh gosh, yes, remember to write your recipe down, it's very important. Yeah, and it's always the one that you forget to write down that you come to, years later and decide, I can't remember how I painted this. And then you'll try a colour scheme and it'll look completely wrong. Nothing worse than that.
No.
Daz Moore says it's all over my desk, that's it.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
So, yeah. Has anyone tried those Citadel paint stands? You know the ones that screw to your wall and you put the paints in?
They do look cool.
I just wonder how much space it'd take. You'd have a whole wall filled with paints, but then I suppose it's not in your box or...
Yeah, better than a whole desk filled with paints.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel that I'd still get the paints out and have them on the desk while I'm painting anyway.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
And like I say, I suppose you don't need all your paints out all the time, do you? So, yeah, if anyone has used them, let us know, because I'd be interested. Right, so in order to colour match here, what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of this Vallejo black primer, just so it's all consistent colour. And then what I'll probably do is go over it with Instar Black after that. But I just need a drop of this. I need some more of this, but this has lasted me ages. I think it was like £8 a bottle, and I've primed most of my models for the last 2 years using this bottle of paint. I'm surprised you've not got an airbrush, Jay.
I've seen some amazing Luminef painted with airbrushes, and yeah, they do look good, and it has tempted me. I think what puts me off, and maybe I just need to get over this, is the sort of setup and takedown time.
Yeah, I mean, cleaning it does take a while, but you've got the advantage that you can prime things in your house.
Yeah, and like I said, I have seen some amazing paint schemes, and I think people get the best out of it when they combine it with regular brushwork.
Yeah. I mean, I predominantly use it for base coats. So my Sons of Horus, getting that base green down with the airbrush, and then you can do the transition from Lupercal green to Sons of Horus green. Really, really easy to do with the airbrush. It'd take a lot longer with a brush, but then I'll go in with an actual brush to kind of then carry on the highlights and do the next stages. So your finished effect has got, the qualities of brush painting. Because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it can look a little bit, I don't want to say artificial, but do you know what I mean? There's something about the kind of the seeing the brush strokes that kind of finishes it off.
Yeah,
but it depends what you're painting, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is completely subjective. So I've seen people paint amazing armies with just the airbrush, but then I do sometimes look at that and think, it looks very, very nice, but it's a different sort of type of painting sometimes than brushwork with the edge highlights and then the blending with the brush. Not to detract from anyone who airbrushes their armies, because I do think they look good in their own way. But yeah, I think that the most impressive is the combination when people manage to combine it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a skill using an airbrush. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy painting with a brush anyway, so I don't know whether I would ever set myself. Even though I like I just mentioned, I've been looking at some Luminef painting videos recently, and they do get some amazing end results with the airbrush, especially with the white armor, where they sort of get this transition from either like a grey or even like a purplish grey or a bluish grey really quickly.
Yeah, it's I mean, for priming things and basing things, it's a godsend.
Like, yeah, I mean, you did a good job on your tanks.
Cheers. I mean, like after this, we mentioned earlier that spray paint is nowhere to be found at the minute. After this stream, I'm just going to prime up the contents of Curse City, and then it's ready for when I want to paint them. I can just grab a model where I don't have to wait for a break in the weather or make sure that they've been sprayed. Mousepate's got a good point. She says, separate area for an airbrush is the best, to be honest. Mine's not like professionally set up, it's just on a small table next to a window for the booth. Mousepate also says she needs to build more shelves. That's always the way. I don't know if you can see, I've had a bit of a sort out. I've been off this week, and we had a skip having a bit of a tidy up, and I took the advantage to have a bit of a sort out of the Warhammer room. Stick some stuff on eBay I wasn't using and throw out some old bits, and I've managed to free up 3, 4, 5 shelves, which basically means, Jay, I can fit 5 more armies in here.
was that the plan all along?
That's what it all boils down to, isn't it? That's always the way. As soon as I clear space, I'll easily fill it again.
Yeah, that's the Beast Snagger army there. That's the Soul.
It is, yeah. Trouser Face says, how are you going to base your Curse City models? I was thinking I put mine on clear bases so I can see the artwork of the board tiles. That's a really good idea, actually. I quite like clear bases for board games. Like I said earlier, I'm going to base mine the same as my death models, just so it's like it'd work as a consistent army.
Yeah, see that with you are planning to use these models in your army, aren't you? Whereas I'm just going to keep them for the board game, which gives me a bit of flexibility on the bases because I don't have to tie them into a wider force.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the question is, are all these models going to be viable in a Soul Blight army? And actually, am I better off just basing it all together for Curse City? But by making them compatible, then I haven't got that decision to make, have I? It's just if they work in the army, then great.
Yeah, and I think you can make some bases that work for both.
Right, just doing the tricky job of dotting in her eyes with some yellow. Dave says clear bases are a great idea. Right, I'm going to be quiet for 2 seconds just as I try and do this without ruining her face.
There's
There we go, we've got a yellow eyeball.
Some people say paint the eyes first because then you can go back and touch it up when you paint the rest of the face.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of why I'm doing at this stage before the highlight, because if you do miss and kind of get yellow around her eyes, you can kind of hide it when you get to the highlight stage, can't you?
Yeah.
There we go. We've managed to dot the eyes. You're probably not going to be able to see that. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Yeah, you're probably going to see that to the end. But she has got yellow. She has got yellow eyes. Dalsmore says, what sprays have you not been able to get? I think all of the Games Workshop ones have been out of stock for majority of the year. Black, Mechanica Standard Grey, both of the contrast colours. I think most of the colours have been out of stock as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I managed to find a 10.5 of Wraithbone Grey, Wraithbone Spray in my cupboard. So I'm good. I can now spray my Lumineth. I was going to spray them Grey Seer, but I've decided to go back and just do the regular Metrica colour scheme on them. So it's a Wraithbone base. Lucky for me. But yeah, you can't find any online. Certainly I can't find any online.
Dalsmore said he's had no issues. Where are you getting your paints from, dude? Let us know.
Where?
Hit us up and we'll... In fact...
You won't tell us now. Everyone will... The secret's been blown.
Hey, on Monday the shops are open again, and I can get a much desperately needed haircut because it's a bit wild at the minute. But I'm hoping our local GW has maybe got some spray cans hidden away.
Yeah. I need to go in there actually, so I won't mind the coins.
Oh yeah. Which one would you want to get? The Lumineth one, I take.
Lumineth one, yeah.
Dave's got Wraithbone and Leadbelch on back order mouse bait. My local friendly game store actually has most of the sprays, but we're in a high humidity area, and there's precious few days you can actually use them. Yeah. That's a problem. Unfortunately, we haven't got that issue in Crew.
No.
We've got the issue with it either being, well, like today, we have had sun and hail and snow. Yeah, it's been a strange one. Especially on my week off as well.
Yeah.
I think the first day was glorious sunshine, and then it's not been the same since. I put some feed on me garden, and that's all dead now. I think it was mostly moss, and it's killed it all. So, and then the bad weather's not helped on that. So, yeah, just some normal weather would be nice right now. So I'm just painting in some stripes of Eshin Grey on the hair, just to kind of give the illusion of the different kind of strands of the hair, leaving the black showing through, because that's one less job later on, and then I can just give that a sharp highlight later on.
I'm just highlighting the hair myself actually.
I could even throw in a wash there later just to boost that a little bit. Okay, so Dalsmore says it's an online sweet shop called the Sweetie People. They sell Warhammer 2 and have the sprays in stock all through lockdown and only charge a few pounds postage. What's the link? If you could send me that link, Daz, that'd be much appreciated. The sweet shop that sells Warhammer. That sounds dangerous to me, Jay.
It's It's weird. That would have been a good one to put on the top 3 last week, where you find that hobby bargains only places like that.
Yeah. Actually, we mentioned local shop of ours at Dagfields, the Toy Emporium. They, I believe, have still got copies of Cursed City.
Ah.
I threw it in the chat, but I'm painting hair at the minute. So if you search for Toy Emporium crew, they still have copies of Cursed City available.
At a good price as well, wasn't it?
Is it RRP? Yeah. So you're not saving anything, but you can get a box, which I know some people have missed out on. Does says keep it secret, keep it safe. Craig Sinclair says TT Combat sells their own brand of sprays, which I've heard really good things about. And Dave wants Cola Bottle Sweets and Warhammer. Don't we all, Dave? Don't we all? So I think Games Workshop have done a really good job on the Underworlds warbands this season. I don't think there's a bad one that we've seen so far. Have you got any favourites that you've seen in this release, Jay?
I think I like the Seraphon one.
They are really nice. I'm going to hand. Yeah, we painted them up on the stream a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, they are really nice models. I think I mentioned this at the time, but the thing putting me off doing a Seraphon Force is those old Saurus Warriors are a bit dated now, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
And Dave was putting the link for the Toy Emporium. Cheers, Dave. Yeah, they're pretty good. They've got Piety and Pain in stock. They've got Curse City, and then most GW stuff is like 20% off as well. So yeah, and they're only a small short drive from here as well. Yeah. Might have to go and pay them a visit once we're allowed to do such things. In fact, they might have spray paints.
Yeah, possibly. They probably don't have sweets though.
They probably don't have sweets now. They do like teddy bears and stuff. It's a proper toy shop. So yeah, sorry Jay, I completely went off on a tangent then. So you like the Seraphon?
Yeah, I do. I think the Seraphon warband's really, really cool. Like you say, the Saurus inside there is really cool, but also the Blood Bowl Lizardmen with the Saurus players really sort of put the Saurus Guard to shame, don't they?
Yeah, it's such a shame that we haven't had any new, apart from the scenery piece. We've not had any new Seraphon models for Sigmar, have we, really?
No, I don't think so.
So, I mean, and not every army can have a massive update, can they, every time?
No, not every army's Lumineth.
No, not every army's Lumineth.
Gets $2.
And we've still not got all the...
Still not got the Chariots or Tyrion and the River Temple.
Oh well, roll on book 3 in 6 months, Jay.
See, I wouldn't mind because it just means I can just stock up on more.
This is it. I know you wouldn't mind. You'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Add them to the cart.
Another temple, keep them coming.
You just have like a direct debit set up from Games Workshop where they just, take a flat monthly fee and they send you the new toys. Okay, so I think I've nearly got the base colours down on her. Then she's looking all right. So for the kind of robes, and I've done the same on this chap here. What I've done is mixed up 50-50 mix of Mephiston red and Instar black, and then I've slowly increased the ratio of red to black for the highlights, and it gives a kind of a dark, moody, more gothy style red for the vampires.
Is this your Mephiston goth mix?
Yeah, Mephiston goth. Now there is a new colour, Baraknar Burgundy.
Oh, okay.
Which looks really good. I know Nick Baton has talked about that quite a bit on their stream. And I've not tried it yet. That probably would have been the right colour to go for, but I didn't have it, so I had to mix my own one. And that reminds me, I need to do a bit of a paint purchase as well when I can. I've got a load of bottles of paint, like you said earlier. You do a little exercise we went through and made sure they were all, still alive. I can't face it. I've got so many bottles with gunk all around the rim as well that I need to sort out. But that's a soul destroying job, isn't it?
It is. I did start loading them all into the app.
I did that as well.
It took me hours. I got bored and stopped.
I also did that. Mouseplate says a very nice red. Cheers. Yeah, I thought something a bit just moodier for the vampires would work. Dave would love to do a Seraphon army one day, but not soon. And Andy says next week. We all know that Dave kind of jumps through his projects on a rapid rate. Last week it was Bone Reapers. This week it's Ogres. I'm sure there'll be another project on the go by the time we record the podcast on Monday. Craig Sinclair uses Barrack Burgundy at every opportunity. I've got a great purple recipe using it as the base. Yeah, I need to pick up one because I think it's going to be similar to the kind of vibe that I'm going for here. They did say on the Warhammer TV Twitch stream what colours made it up. Apparently, the heavy metal team consistently, I think it was a red and a green that they mixed together to make that colour, and because they did it so often, they just released it as a paint, which is cool. I quite like how, obviously all the departments talk to each other, and if they use a particular paint combo, they'll just end up adding it to the main line. I do wonder if we're due some new paints. I think the contrast range could be expanded with some more colours.
Yeah.
Because I think contrast was pretty popular. I think we both picked up the whole set, didn't we?
We did, didn't I love the contrast. There's a lot I use is like glazes and stuff like that. I don't tend to use it to paint an army as contrast. I just use it as an extra sort of type of paint.
Yeah, I use a lot of it. It's like glazes and washes now.
Yeah, I know Dave's done some fantastic contrast.
Yeah, Dave's go-to paints are contrast, and I think they've got a different consistency, haven't they? You've got to kind of get a feel for how they work, and once you've got that down, they're a really good tool. I know Daz Moore, if you're still in the chat, has got some good advice on using contrast paints in different ways. Oh, go on.
This guy, Alfarian, I don't know, can you see this guy?
Oh, let me switch over to your screen. Yeah.
Can you see him? So, pretty much everything on him was contrast, apart from the metal.
Yeah, that looks really good. That cloak looks awesome.
Yeah, the cloak. So the edge highlights weren't contrast there, but the ribbons here were contrast. His helmet was contrast. His arm was contrast. The gems were contrast. The base was contrast.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Daz Moore says, every model I do starts with a soft brush and contrast before I glaze and wet blend. Mousebait also says that Darcy Bono has a really easy cleaning video for citadel pots. Yeah, I could look at a tutorial, but it would then involve me cleaning the pots. I'm just putting it off, Mousebait. I'll get to the point where I can't close the pot anymore because it's so congealed, and then that'll be the point that I eventually Google it and clean them out. That's one good thing about dropper bottles. But with dropper bottles, you have the same problem. I've got various paper clips here that I use for piercing the hole on a dropper bottle that's gunked up. The moral of the story is don't let your paint pots gunk up.
No.
And if you do clean them, don't be a filthy scratter like me and leave them. Another thing, I use these kind of recyclable, the kind of peel off pallets now. You use the same, don't you, Jay?
Yes.
But that's something I do miss from the old plastic pallets. The satisfaction of peeling off your dried paint. But you used to use like CD lids and all sorts, didn't you?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, if you look over that way, I've got my old dish that I used to use, which is like It looks like a pancake now because it got that many layers of paint on it. But yeah, I did used to use old CDs, old CD cases, the top of my sand pot. I've used the bottom of my lampshade. The only thing, I've been very disciplined. Since I've got this mat, I've not used this mat. I use this paper thing next to me. So I have got better. This year, I have improved my hobby.
There you go. Was that on your hobby top 3 for your
It
resolutions?
should have been, shouldn't it? I would have got extra points for that at the end of the year.
Should have done. Absolutely should have done. Right, so I think we've got base colours down. So what we're going to do now is start going in with some washes and just getting some contrast on some of the areas, darkening down some of the metal, and then we're getting there. That's pretty happy with the progress on her tonight. How are you getting on, Jay?
Yeah, so I'll just show you here. So I'm just working on the head really and the hair. So I'm just gonna do the gem now on the forehead, and then start working on her armor then.
Well, here's how we're looking on the vampire. Come on, focus. So yeah, we've got the base colours down. So just need to start washing that, and then I can start doing the highlights. Yeah, a bit of a rough and ready job at the minute, but I don't tend to stress too much about getting things super neat at this point, because you can always neaten it up later on.
Yeah. It is nice painting up individual models or small units like this as well, because you can sort of take your time a bit more. You're not like a palette here. I've got like 10 wind chargers, 15 stone guard. I've got 40 wardens I need to paint. I'm thinking, it's just a different thing altogether, isn't it? Painting those.
Yeah, I tend to batch paint armies. I don't know. I find it quite relaxed, and I can just go through, paint all the black, paint all the boots brown, and just go through like a production line. So even on the Seraphon warband, I did them all in one go. It's quite unusual for me to pick out these characters one at a time, but I really enjoyed painting the first vampire I did, so I just thought I'd paint them all separately. I don't know whether to have some like variation in the skin tones across the vampires. It's the only thing
for the different factions of vampire, yeah, that might be cool.
Because these,
I'm not sure, Matt. Yeah,
I do think the purple works quite well for the skin of them, but I don't know if the more bestial ones, so like this guy here, whether he needs to be a different colour, maybe more of a natural skin tone going into the browns of the fur and the wings, and the same on the Varg's gear. I don't know. Let's leave it to the chat. Out in the chat, what do you think? Should I keep the purple skin tone across all the vampires, or use something different for the more bestial vampires? What do you guys think? Daz, it's been fun tonight to go. Happy holiday all. Hope to have you over the channel soon again, Matt. Of course, absolutely. Happy to be on your stream whenever, Daz. Thanks for joining us, and cheers for stopping by and watching the stream with us. Hope you have a good rest of the weekend. We've got 13 people lurking in the chat. If anyone who doesn't introduce themselves, don't be shy. Come and say hi. She's got like a cut-out area in the back of her dress that I keep forgetting. And realistically, you're probably not going to see it, but now I know it's there, it's going to bug me. It looks fine.
Well, cycle. Wild, what do I
think? Dodgy Roller says purple all the way. Yeah, I'm feeling the purple.
It does look nice, quite unique looking as well.
And I'm thinking, obviously, the zombies, I'm probably going to do in more kind of. I know the Games Workshop ones. I haven't got the box to hand. They've gone for quite a variation of skin tones, haven't they, on the zombies? I'll probably go for more kind of classic rotten flesh look on all of them, and then obviously the skeletons are going to be quite kind of samey, aren't they? So with the purple skin on the vampires, they should stand out, especially if it is like we assume it's going to be like. You know, a classic vampire count style army with a couple of powerful vampires leading an army. I kind of want them to stand out. So I can't remember what I used to shade this red. Ooh, And you know what? I didn't write it down in my book. So, pro tip, make sure you write down in your book. I think I went in with a purple. Maybe not. It looks like a black. Norn oil. Yeah, I went in with Norn oil on that. And then Agrax on the gold, Norn oil on the silver. Okay, that's easily done. Good job I had that guy lying around to remind me what colours I used. So let's do the Norn oil next. I'm running low on Norn oil as well. It's like this time last year when Games Workshop web store closed for, I don't know, it was a month or so, wasn't it? And
yes.
worldwide supplies of Norn oil and Agrax Earthshade were running low, weren't they? It was a dark time. I think I was really desperate for that Agrax Earthshade, and I think I bought a pot of it for like £6 off eBay. Desperate times, eh?
And then you spill it.
Yeah. Have you spilt many bottles of washes?
Oh, I'm always spilling it, I am.
Have you ever invested in the little, the little doodads that I don't know if they still sell them, but the little plastic things that hold your bottles?
I'd still spill them somehow. Are they like shatterproof rulers?
Yeah, probably. You look at it and it falls over. She's looking okay. And then once we've done this, we've got the super fun job of edge highlighting all that black.
I love edge highlighting black. What colours are you using to do the edge highlighting?
I used for him Dark Reaper.
Yes.
For second highlight, a mixture of Dark Reaper and Rust Grey. I think there is a colour that goes between them, but I didn't have it. So I had to
I think
improvise.
it's Thunderhawk Blue, I think.
Yeah. There's definitely a shade between the two of them. So I just mixed them together to get the equivalent shade.
That's not a problem when you're painting a single miniature like that. If you're doing a whole army, you probably want to find that proper shade, don't you? But for a single miniature, you can afford to just mix it because you don't need to worry about being consistent across it.
Just wing it. It'll be fine. It'll all come out in the edit.
Okay.
So what's everyone in the chat up to at the minute? Are we working on anything exciting? Have we nearly finished any models? Hopefully I'll be streaming on Tuesday night as well. I don't know if you're free to join me then, Jay?
Possibly. I may be able to be free.
We'll have a little bit of a painting session because I'm hoping he shouldn't have too much more work to do on her after tonight. And then ideally, if I can get this whole warband painted this week, then I'm in a good position then for Be'lakor and Curse City then. But yeah, as soon as Be'lakor lands on my desk, which is pre-order Saturday, comes out the following Saturday, give or take a day or two because postage is a bit slower than usual. Gives me just over 2 weeks, doesn't it, to get these done and get some Curse City models done. Because then once Be'lakor arrives, I'm just painting him. He looks quite a detailed model, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
And I don't know how to do his base. Obviously, you've got options for a Chaos Warrior, a Space Marine, or nothing on his base. I'm going to see if it's maybe possible at all to magnetize the casualty on his base.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, just leave them off entirely. I don't want him tied to one system, you see, because I will be using him for both.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to put a little bit of Agrax into her hair as well, just blend in some of this grey. Craig Sinclair, 5 Cabalites ready for blending on the armour. Excellent work. Dave says, hope you can not glue the premise of Chaos Warrior. Yep, Warcom confirmed that there's option for him without it. If you watch the video this week in Warhammer, as well as showing off the box art for the 2 characters that are coming out alongside him, they do confirm that you can leave him without any casualty on his base.
Be interesting to see where the story goes then with that. Is it tied to Archaon and the siege at the Varan Spire, or is it tied to Slanesh's birth, or is it a new story arc that's kicked off?
Wow.
Obviously, we were told there was some shadowy figure that helped Marathi.
I think that shadowy figure is Be'lakor. It's going to be an interesting one, and you can be sure it's going to be a spoiler-riddled review when it does go up. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to reading that one.
I'm looking forward as well to see if there's anything about Malarian and the Shadow Elves. I mean, there are chaos worshipping elves out there.
Yeah, and we've not really seen. I mean, there's been mentions of them, hasn't there? But we haven't really seen what Malarian's up to in these Broken Realm books, have we?
No.
So yeah, certainly be an interesting one. Then there's quite a few models coming out with this one. So we've got the Stormcast hero and the Nighthaunt hero. So I wonder if the Nighthaunt are having a bit of a revision in this one, like some of the War Scrolls did for other stuff in previous books.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to be a bit upset, obviously, with the events from Broken Realm, Techless.
Yeah. Or are they? Are they going to be more independent now?
Maybe they turn into good guys now. Maybe like, oh, we never liked Nagash.
Well, see, that's one thing in the video on Warcom. It mentions an unusual alliance and a war featuring magic.
I don't know what. Sorry.
A war featuring magic.
Okay.
So I do wonder, do the Stormcast team up with Lady Alinda in order to fight the greater evil of chaos?
Well, I mean, Nagash and they were part of the Pantheon, weren't they, to fight?
Yeah.
The Dark Gods at the beginning. So.
And if Be'lakor is now, fully independent on a crusade against everyone, he's going to be a massive threat, isn't he?
Is he the new baddie? Yeah, I mean, he's got an impressive enough model.
So yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. Dave loves the Stormcast hero. It's such a cool one with the superhero pose.
Yeah, it's nice.
Dave, are you going to be picking that up? I might get the Nighthaunt. Though, realistically, it's not going to be any time soon in the painting queue. So I might hold fire. It's not going anywhere, is it? It's not a limited edition model or anything.
No.
And I have got quite a lot of Nighthaunt. Enough that if a new book came out, I'd be able to knock together an army of them. I got what was it called? The Morngul, was it? The big Forge World model.
Oh yes, yeah. So I still got rules, has it?
Oh, it did. Last time I looked, it may not have rules anymore. Not much. Forge World stuff's really got Sigmar rules anymore, is it?
No, and I was so close to doing a Fimir army as well.
Fimir, yeah.
Although maybe Kragnos maybe some Fimir type creatures with Kragnos.
Yeah, it'd be cool if there was a destruction style army for you to pick up, Jay.
Yeah.
Of course, that means that you lose your hobby resolution, though.
Well, not if I get the Lumineth done first.
Ah, yeah, this is true. This is true. Mouseweight says, "Oh gosh, painting queue. I'm putting Indomitus together. Yeah, I've got an Indomitus box that I need to decide to do something with as well. I've got too much stuff. But hey, keeps us off the streets, doesn't it?" Alright. Washes are very nearly done on her. And then really we haven't got much left to do after that. I say not much left to do, we need to do all the highlights. But I don't know, I feel once you've got a model kind of like based and shaded, you can get away with using it on the table then, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. Especially in a game like Curse City.
Yeah, you feel like you feel like you made a little bit of progress. But no, I've definitely enjoyed painting these vampires. I think they're currently sold out on the website. I know a lot of people have been picking them up just because of nice models.
Yeah, and I think in anticipation as well. I think Soulblight's quite. People are looking forward to Soulblight, aren't they?
Yeah. So I will man the chat for a little bit while this is drying. I think we're nearly up to the end of the stream as well, 8:45. That's flown by, hasn't it?
That's flown by.
Mousebait, I just put together my Grandmasters Adeptus Titanicus box and the new starter set, and I've ordered the new box as well. Oh wow, that's an awesome force. And so what you'll have then, Mousebait, you'll have 3 Warlords, a Warbringer, 3 Reavers and 4 Warhounds. You should be able to do pretty much every... Well, you might need 1 more Warbringer, and then you'll be able to do every mana pool in the game, which is pretty cool. So let me switch to my camera. So this is how we're looking on the Vampire Velas von Fane so far.
Oh yeah, nice one.
So base colours down, we've got some washes down, and then once these washes are dry, start highlighting, working with that black armour up through Dark Reaper, and then yeah, onwards on there. For the reds, what I did was basically mix in higher proportions of red just to get the layers up to the final. I think it was pretty much pure Mephiston on the final highlight, just because I wanted a darker like gradient on it, and if I want to try and get that red on every model somewhere, so on the skeletons, on their kind of like robes and stuff, on the zombies somewhere, just because I think that red colour should then tie the army together. This will be the armour colour of the main dude as well. I don't know what his name is. This guy. So yeah. So are you painting any more heroes, Jay? Or are you going to move on to the village? Oh, back to your Lumineth once you painted her.
I will probably move back onto the, because I'll be using Colophus in our games. So I will probably move back onto the Lumineth now. Like I say, I want to try and get 1,000 points painted up over the next 6 weeks, ready for a game with you guys. And then as well, then I've never had a game properly with my Lumineth. I think I've had 2 games on Tabletop Simulator with Dave back when the book first came out last year, the first version of the book. So I want to get some games in. So yeah, so that's the plan. And then the 1,000 points I'm aiming to get painted up. So I'm aiming to get 20 Wardens painted up, 10 of my Stone Guard, some of me Wind Chargers, and maybe another character. And then that gives me a good foundation and to spread out on my different lists that I've got.
Cool. We could do, if you fancy it. Obviously, if the weather's good at some point. That 1,000 points against Sons of Bahamut.
Yeah.
Make a Gargant and 3 Man-Eaters, maybe.
Yeah, we could do that. Or we could do your Daughters of Cain. You've got those, haven't you? You've not used those.
I have. Daughters of Cain, that's a good shout, actually. Yeah, deal. We'll do that. 1,000 points to Daughters of Cain versus some Light Elves. But yeah, happy with that. So what step are you at now on yours then, Jay?
So yeah, I think I'm looking at the stream now. We've got just under 15 minutes left. I'm happy now. I've got the skin done. I've got the head done. I've got the hair done. I've got the antlers done. There's a little gem on the on like the headdress that she's wearing. I'm trying to decide what colour to do that. On the artwork, it's a red gem. It's only a tiny little thing, but I'm wondering whether a purple gem might look nicer with the greens, like as a sort of contrast to the green.
See, thinking if these become a full faction as well, purple might be a nice spot colour.
Yes, you might be right. I think I'm going to do purple. Now then, what purples have I got? Genestealer purple.
Genestealer purple. Is that like a pale purple? That is. No, is that the darker one?
The lilac purple. Okay, so that's like the mid-tone. Decala lilac is like the highlight, so I need a base that goes with that one. We've got some Nagaroth Knights.
Nagaroth Knights, I think the darkest one. You could work up from that maybe.
Yeah, I think that might be the one. Oh, hang on, I've got another one here as well. What's this one? Zeus.
Oh, Zerus purple. That's quite a dark purple, isn't it?
Yes, that actually looks. That's it. That's the one. Zerus purple. Right. So.
Mouse Bait agrees with purple, or says, "What about contrast purple?"
Contrast purple. Which one's that?
Because that'll actually flow into the kind of curves of the gem as well.
It would, and I would go to contrast actually. However, if you look at the size of this gem, it is minuscule. It's not much bigger than her eyes, so I don't think there's enough room on there for contrast to really work.
Just spot it with that dark one, then tiny brush, and just spot a highlight on it.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try. So, the good news is if I mess it up, I can just paint over it gold, which is what it's currently painted gold.
Yeah.
I normally do these gems the normal Games Workshop way, which is like black, and then just layers of the colour gradually getting lighter. But this one is very, very small.
I had that with a little vial of blood on the belt of the first guy that I painted that I'd completely missed like halfway through painting it. I was like, I need to go back and add that. So...
I've got an idea for the bow though. I'm thinking of doing the bow like an arcane blue, bluish green sort of glowing colour.
Kind of like
contrast might be good on that.
Like the magical ones that I can't remember what they're called. The daughters.
Kurnoth have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they would tie into my Kurnoth army, then me Sylvaneth. I like her backstory's cool. She's as the. Oh well, actually, I don't want to ruin too much. So I'm not going to talk about it on the stream in case people haven't read the books yet.
Yeah, I haven't read the book yet. I need to do that tonight.
Yeah, I would recommend reading through that before you play your first game, purely because it really gets you immersed in the setting, and it's sort of the missions then make sense what you're trying to do.
That's cool. They really seem to messed up this already. Seem to have built on the narrative aspect, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know,
which is what's going to keep you coming back.
The writing in general in Sigmar has been really good recently.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Broken Realms. I liked parts of it. I thought were absolutely fantastic. And this Dark Harvest book that I'm reading now, actually, some of the best Age of Sigmar sort of library book I've read. Some of the battles, but that's across all the systems where it's a bit. It did sort of feel sometimes they were just trying to. This unit comes up and it does an amazing thing. Then this unit comes up and beats it and does an amazing thing. But around that, the actual story was brilliant.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the battles are hard to do. And you know what? Some of the best books that I've read haven't got any battles in them. You don't necessarily need the battles to make it a Warhammer book, do you?
And I think we are spoiled by the quality we get in the Siege of Terror.
Yeah. Oh, so I take it are you going to get the audible version of Mortis then next week?
Yeah. I've got to quickly finish Dark Harvest because I do want to finish that one, and then it's on to Mortis. I listened to Fury of Magnus, which I actually want to go back and listen to all those novellas because if they're anything like Fury of Magnus, then
I was so impressed with Fury of Magnus. The first novella they did for the Siege of Terror, Sons of the Selenor, isn't as good. It's still worth reading, but it's not as good as Fury of Magnus. I was blown away with that. Was not expecting lots of things that happened in that.
No.
Magnus did nothing wrong. Oh, he did.
I loved how they worked so many lines like that into it as well.
I know, yeah. It was such a cool book. I guess that means it can't be too far off the next book in the series as well, because normally the collector's edition one kind of follows the normal one, doesn't it?
Yes. There's only 3 left, is there?
Yeah, there's only 3 left, so it's all. I mean, there's not a lot for them left to do, is there? Oh, Craig Sinclair, night lads. Thanks for the company of the last few hours. No problem, Craig. Glad you've enjoyed it.
Bye, Craig.
Hopefully, I'll definitely be on Tuesday. Hopefully, Jay will be on as well, and we carry on with these guys, I think.
Yes.
Mousebait, yeah, the latter books are much better. I love the Siege of Terror series. Yeah, the Siege of Terrors, every single one of those books have been phenomenal. Mortis was a longer read, but just physically, it's a much bigger book than the other ones. So yeah. Oh, we've had a new follower, Shaking Bones. Cheers for following. How are you doing? What are you painting, Shaking Bones? You've caught it at the very tail end of the stream, I'm afraid. We've only got like 5 or so minutes left. But yeah, we'll be streaming on Tuesday and 7 till 9 every Sunday night as well. And hopefully next week we'll have Dave on as well, painting some ogres. I'm torn on what hero I want to play in Curse City though. Let me have a look. So I've got the ogre's really cool. The witch hunter guy's really cool. The kind of like noble,
awesome.
He's cool. Von Alton, whatever his name is.
I quite like the Sigmar priest, the priestess.
The priestess, yeah.
She's got some. What's her name? Cleona Zeitengale. She's got her story and the description of what she can do is amazing.
Yeah, she's really.
But Glario Van Alten as well appeals to me, purely based on the model.
Yeah, he's got a pistol and a samurai sword.
Yeah.
And his armor is kind of like samurai style. So I'm going to paint it. I've got it to hand. Remember how I painted Chinjar, the White Skulls character,
yeah.
with the red armor? I think it was corn red, and then I used one of the contrast reds to give it like a lacquered armor look.
Yeah.
So he is pretty cool. And what's he? Jansen Danik, I think his name is, the Witch Hunter. He's ace, and the ogre's ace. So basically, I'm just going to paint them all and then roll the dice to see which one I play with because I like them all. In fact, you know what? That might be my initial warband for playing through it myself. To be fair, because I like those models. They're my favourite.
Yeah, they're all sort of on the airship, so you can choose who to take into a particular journey with you. If one of your characters is getting a bit high on the levels, you might want to, because obviously there's like there is a death mechanic in it as well. I mean, a death mechanic, the whole city's full of death. I mean, for your characters.
Yeah, same as Blackstone Fortress. I think it's got, one thing I do have to give it a mark against it. In Blackstone Fortress, we had the really nice, what do they call them, the status pods or something they put all the cards into with all the artwork on them, where it's just a jiffy bag in this, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Which is a shame. And they've only included enough for each of the heroes. There isn't one that you can put the, your tokens with the fear and influence and which bosses you've killed. There isn't a bag to put them in. And it's no biggie getting one yourself, but... Yeah,
it seems like, they did it for Blackstone. Why haven't they done it for Curse City? Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem a shame. Dave's got to run. Catch you later. Cheers, Dave. See
Bye,
you later
Dave.
on. So Trouser Face has got 6 Cursed City characters built, 2 to go. They're such fun models. How have you found building them, Trouser Face? All of the push fit stuff, there's one model I had to use glue on, and funnily enough, Jay did the same. And there's one of the vampire triplets where the arm kind of attaches to the body, but it just will not stay in place while you're trying to attach the kind of piece with a peg that kind of locks it in place. So I had to glue that one. But other than that, they went together really, really well. I think if you didn't spend the time to clean up the models and take out all the bits of sprue, they might not fit super slick, but no gaps or anything, might look fine.
Yeah, they're brilliant. And I just can't believe how good easy to build kits are nowadays. I mean, to me, when I was building them, after I spent days building my Lumineth stuff, the wind charges in particular, and you think, the model, they don't look any better than these easy build models. So why isn't every kit they do easy build nowadays?
I'd happily have easy build kits with that quality. Yeah. They're so good. Trouser Face is not too bad. I use a small amount of glue just in case. Yeah, I mean, some of the bases are a bit loose, but I've kept them separate just because I think that, like I've done with these, I tend to base things on a cork while I'm painting it anyway. I think some of the skeletons, maybe their robes might get in the way. So if I could just keep them on the slot base, I can hold them by the slot while I paint the kind of interior detail, because otherwise the base just gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Trouser Faces cleaned them all up. Mouse bait. I'm noticing it with Indomitus. When it doesn't fit, I've not cleaned it right. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're all computer designer, aren't they? So in theory, they should all go together perfectly. Trouser Face has dynamic poses, which I dig as well. Awesome. So yeah, I think we are coming up to 9 o'clock at the end of the stream. So should we share what we've done? Should we start with mine? If I switch over, here is the vampire, Velas von Thane. She is base coated. We've put some washes on her, ready to start highlighting this up once that's dried. So yeah, pretty happy with that for a couple of hours progress on her. Jay, do you want to share what you've done?
Get this up 2 seconds so I can see what I'm doing. Here we are. So I'll try and get the light on her. Can you have to tell me whether that's
looking okay? Yeah, I can see that's in focus, yeah. So yeah, looking good. So you're in a similar place really then, base colours and washes down.
Yeah, so I'm going to start working on the armour now on Tuesday then, start working down.
Cool, sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us on the stream today. Hope you've enjoyed it, and it's been really fun to paint these vampires. I don't know about you, Jay, but these models are so nice to paint up. Trouser Face has dynamic poses, which I dig. Yeah, they absolutely are. So yeah, so we will be back on Tuesday, painting some more models. We'll be painting these very models on Tuesday, finish them off, and yeah, hopefully all you can join us there. If you don't already follow us, any follows would be much appreciated. It helps support the channel and gets the reach out there, which means we can enjoy painting with more of you guys. But yeah, if it's your first time, obviously we've got the podcast and the website, spruesandbrews.com. Go there for all the latest news, reviews, fun Warhammer stuff like that. And then if you search for Sprues and Brews, you should find us on Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll see you real soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.